Hello everybody, Les Szancer from Kinetic Securities giving you this presentation on spreads. Today we are going to talk about debit spreads, also known as vertical spreads. A debit spread is simply a spread where we simultaneously buy and sell an option in the same strategy, not at exactly the same strike price because that would cancel each trade out, but at different strike prices. Now, why do we do debit spreads as distinct from, say, just buying puts or just buying calls? Well, because the market has been very volatile lately, most options, if not all options, are overpriced. Volatility puts value into options, and therefore if we are buying options, we are generally overpaying for those options. This would not be a major problem if every single trade that we did was a winner, but that's never going to happen. No one can ever have every trade a winner. So if we are having trades that, even if we have a good strike rate and most of our trades are winners, the ones that are not winners, because we will be overpaying for those, would eat in, if not take away, most of or all of our profit from the winning trades. How do we circumvent this overpaying for options? Well, the way we circumvent it is we also sell an option. If we are buying options in an overpriced market and we are selling options in an overpriced market, albeit at different strike prices, then we are somewhat, or to a large degree, circumventing that overpaying because of the volatility. That's one reason why we do spreads. The other reason is that if we buy and sell an option in the same strategy, we are obviously outlaying and risking less money. If we were to spend, for argument's sake, a $2,000 per option just buying an option, we're risking $2,000. If you put $2,000 into the market, then your risk is $2,000. But if we buy an option for $2,000, sell one in the case of a put spread below it for, say, $1,000, now we're risking just $1,000 per spread. Now, these numbers I'm using are just rounded out numbers. Obviously, the price of the options that we buy and sell will depend on the stock and on the pricing at the time that we actually go off and do that spread. Now, what is a vertical debit put spread? Simply put, a vertical debit put spread is a put spread whereby you buy a put. I like to buy them at the money. You don't have to buy them at the money, but I like to buy them at or near the money. And then I sell an out of the money put. And usually, depending on the price of the stock, I like to be at least $2 to $3 away in pricing from where I have bought my put. So if I was to buy out of the money, and if I was using $3, say, on a mid-range price stock as my gap between the two, the further that I buy out of the money, the further I would sell out of the money. So it seems to me good sense to be buying at the money because that gives you the best chance of having this particular trade be successful. So in the case of a put spread, we'll buy a put at the money and then we'll sell a put further out of the money. A debit call spread is exactly the opposite. We still do the same thing, but it goes in the opposite direction, and hence you can see why it's called a vertical spread, because each option is in the same month and they are right above each other. In the case of a call spread, we would buy a call at the money and we would sell a call out of the money. So therefore we're buying at the money and we are selling out of the money. So that's what a call spread is. Now, once we've decided that we're going to do either a put spread because we think stocks are going down, or a call spread because we think stocks are going up, we then put the spread on, and then we have a number of different scenarios that can happen. Obviously, if we buy a put spread and the stock goes straight down to the sold put, in other words, we buy roughly at the money or as close as we can get to the money. We have a gap between where we bought and where we sold. The stock goes straight down. Remember, we bought a put, so that's what we're expecting to happen. It goes straight down to the sold put. Doesn't matter if it goes any further because our profit is capped by that sold put. That's the quid pro quo in doing this type of trade. We spend less money, but we cap our profit. We then sell both positions. Obviously, the bought put at the money will always be worth more than the sold put out of the money. So we sell the position. We're now selling the spread. We originally bought the spread, if you remember, and then we take away the two different prices. When we sell the bought put and we buy the sold put, we take one price away from the other, and therein lies your profit. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is just because we buy a put spread doesn't mean the stock's going to go down. In fact, oftentimes it'll actually go the other way. The good part about doing these types of spreads is that if you do a put spread and the stock goes up instead of down, now both puts are worth less money. Both puts lose value. Now that means that one we bought loses value, but we're not touching that one because most of the time, as you'll see when I do spreads, I do them 3, 4, 6, even further out. So they've got a lot of time in them, and I'll explain to you in a minute why I take more time in the spreads. So now we've got a put spread. We're expecting the stock to go down. Alas, alas, the stock has gone up. If it goes up far enough that we can buy back the put for approximately 50% of what we sold it for, or for a very good profit, then we now buy back the sold put because we want to take that profit, and that also now means we have an unencumbered bought put, a put that is sitting there without anything underneath it because we've just bought back that sold put. If then, in the time that we've prescribed for this particular option, the stock now crashes down again, our bought put will become much more valuable because there is nothing underneath it to stop it losing any value. If it doesn't come straight down, but it sort of heads down a bit, but it still is messing around and not really moving enough for us, because we've already bought back the sold put, there's nothing actually to stop us now selling another put. And if it goes back up again, buying back that put. And in fact, in a perfect world, we would be in a position to sell, buy back, sell, buy back, sell, buy back enough times to pay for the original bought put. If that happened, we're now in the trade for free or very close to free. It's not always going to happen, but I'm always on the lookout to see where I can sell again, buy back again, sell again, buy back again. Now let's have a look at a call debit spread. Scenario 1, the stock goes straight up to the level of the sold call, therefore we now, or close to it, doesn't have to actually go to the exact level. If it goes somewhere close and there's a good profit, we then sell the spread, sell both positions, or we sell the spread, meaning we buy back the sold position and we sell the bought position, take one figure away from the other, and obviously the one that we bought nearer the money will always be worth more than the one that we sold out of the money. The only thing is we never know exactly how much because of the implied volatility. It tends to increase on the further out of the money option. So scenario number 1, if the stock goes straight up, we sell the position, and that is by buying back the sold and selling the bought position. Scenario number 2, the stock goes down. Alas, alas again, just because we bought a call spread doesn't mean the market's going to do exactly what we want it to do. It can obviously often go in the opposite direction. How many people out there have bought a stock only to find the day after it goes down? It seems to happen to everybody. Or it doesn't really, but it just seems to happen to everybody. So if the stock goes down instead of up, remember, calls we buy because we think stock is going up, puts we buy, if we're not using them for insurance, because we think stocks are going down. So the stock has gone down. Both of the calls, both of them, the call doesn't care whether it's bought or sold, both calls lose value. If the stock goes down far enough, we buy back the sold leg, albeit at a profit, and now we have the unencumbered call. You may wonder how I decide when I'm going to sell another call above the bought call, or whether I'm wanting just to see the bought call crash up high and we take a profit. Well, it's a bit of fine tuning, and it's not an exact science, knowing, because no one knows for sure how far a stock's going to go up or down in any given stretch of time. However, if its stock looks like it's really powering ahead, you'll find I don't sell a call above a bought call because I believe that the bought call is going to make plenty of money just being unencumbered. But if the stock is dithering or finding it difficult to get above our bought call, then I will sell another call above it, expecting that if it goes down again, I can buy it back for a lower profit. We are currently in a trade. It's a Rio call spread. We started off at $40, $50, $45, $55. People are in at different levels, but we have bought back the sold leg on at least, I think, 3 occasions now. The trade goes out to March. If I can keep doing that until I think it's going to shoot through the roof, and maybe it will and maybe it won't. The point is, if we can keep selling and buying back, even if it doesn't go to where we want it to go, and remember, whether it's a call or a put, not every trade is going to go in the direction we want just because we want it to. Not every trade is going to be successful in every single aspect, although you'll find that if they're not successful in some aspects, they're usually successful in another part of the spread. So we have bought back this sold position in Rio, I think 3 times now, and I think there'll be more opportunities to do that before the stock either does do the right thing and shoot through the call at a great rate or expires in March. That covers it on debit spreads, also known as vertical spreads. If for any reason you're having any trouble with understanding what we've just been through or need some more help, please feel free to email me. I'm more than happy to go through it with you through email, and if necessary we can also chat about it over the phone.